Good morning and welcome to Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam. Medicare Made Simple is brought to you by United Insurance Experts. Call today 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-CARE. Now, here's Medicare Myriam.
Good morning, all, and thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Myriam Leva with United Insurance Experts. United Insurance Experts is not affiliated with or endorsed by the government or the federal Medicare program. We do not offer every plan available in your area. Currently in Palm Beach County, we represent 10 organizations that offer 49 products. Please contact Medicare directly at 1-800-MEDICARE, or you can contact them online at medicare.gov. The purpose of the show is to educate you on Medicare and to connect you with valuable resources. So again, happy Saturday, everyone. I'm excited to welcome back a special guest, John S-Volen from the Volen Center in Boca Raton. They provide a variety of services and activities for seniors age 60 and above. And today we will focus on the topic of brain health. But before we dive in, I'd like to address a few questions I received this week in regards to Medicare. The first one being, I have been on Medicare for years, and I recently received an email stating that I need to verify my identity to continue receiving benefits. Is this legitimate? So first of all, if you're receiving emails from a third party, typically that is not Social Security. Social Security does not typically email or send any text or even call. They will send you a notification directly. So there seems to be a lot of misformation circulating right now. I haven't heard of any cases where individuals with existing and verified Social Security accounts are being asked to re-verify in order to continue to receive benefits. So I haven't seen any. And according to the Social Security website, it states the Social Security Administration is taking proactive steps to enhance the security of its services by implementing stronger identity verification procedures. The updated measures will further safeguard Social Security records and benefits against fraudulent activity. Over the next 2 weeks, Social Security will carefully transition to stronger identity proofing procedures for both benefit claims and direct deposit changes. Individuals seeking these services who cannot use their personal My Social Security account, which requires online identity proofing, will then need to visit local Social Security office to prove their identity in person. And there's a lot more information right on their site, which is ssa.gov. So from my understanding, this only applies to those who can't be verified online. If the Social Security Administration needs to verify anything with you, they typically will send you a direct notification. But if there's any concerns about this, please reach out to Social Security and make an appointment with them to go over any situations or any issues that you have with your case. Another thing that I've seen the past several weeks, actually, I've been asked where individuals can find information about the Medicaid caregiving program. You can reach out to the Florida Elder Helpline at 1-800-963-5337 or visit the Florida Department of Elder Affairs websites for assistance. I've had a lot of individuals that have family members that could become caregivers and collect money for doing these services. So again, this is a number that you can reach out to get more information. Again, that number is 1-800-963-5337. And then my last thing that I want to mention that I've seen a lot the past few months is the coordination of benefits. So if you have any issues with coordination of benefits with Medicare and maybe another Medicare Advantage plan that you had in the past, and your provider doesn't know who to bill or who to file that claim with, the best number to call is the Benefits Coordination and Recovery Center at 855-798-2627. Or you can contact your employer if it's an issue with the employer. You can contact them directly. Again, that number is 855-798-2627. If you would like to know more about these questions that I went over today, you're welcome to call us at 561-464-2273. Please reach out with any concerns or questions that you may have. Again, that number is 561-464-2273. So that wraps up my education updates for the week. So without further ado, let's welcome John. Good morning, John. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me back.
Of course.
I always enjoy it.
I love to always have you back. You always have so much information to give. You're so knowledgeable. So tell us, for those that don't know who John, what do you do, John?
At the Volen Center, I handle the outreach, which is what we're doing here. I go out into the community and try and educate folks, not only what the Volen Center does, but what some of the programs mean. For example, today we'll be discussing Alzheimer's. And that's primarily what I've been doing and studying for 14 years. So I feel like I've gone to medical school. I've been to so many symposiums and seminars and read papers from all over the world. And I wanted to share that information. And any one of these topics we'll talk about, we could spend a lot of time on, but I just want to give a hint. Open the door and let people see what they can do to protect their brains.
Yes. So what I see, I have a list here. Your first thing that you've listed is genetics.
There's one thing I didn't put on the list because there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. That's your age. As you get older, the risk for Alzheimer's increases. By the time you're 85, it's probably 1 in 3 that might have that. But how you live your life now can greatly affect those percentages. But every time I go to a talk or a lecture, the first question that comes up, what about genetics? My father had, my grandfather, am I going to get this disease? And every neurologist and every geneticist that I've talked to says, maybe, maybe not. They put it into 2 groups. The first group of genes are called risk genes. You might get that from your mom, your dad, which means you may get it, you may not. And that risk is about 25 to 30%. The other group of genes are called deterministic genes. If anyone has those, you will get the disease. It's 100%. But the good news is that less than 1% of people diagnosed actually have that genetic defect. It's not that prevalent. It usually stays around familial groups of families. For example, I'll give you an example. In the early 1700s, a group of families came from Spain to Colombia. And they had this gene. And over the years, through marrying and intermarrying and whatnot, that family group is about 5,000 right now. And they have this gene, which means 50% of those folks will pass away by the time they're 50. And there's nothing you can do about that. But the folks in our country, I don't think that's a big problem like I've been told. It's such a rare gene, genetic defect. So I'm not going to even worry about that. But we can affect our lives by these various factors. The first one you see on the list is smoking. We all know that smoking is bad. How many people still smoke? Smoking constricts your blood vessels. The toxins in it go through your brain and affect your mental capacity. The University of Wisconsin has a tobacco research facility. They came up with a number for every cigarette you smoke, you lose about 15 minutes of your life. So imagine someone who spent 30 years smoking 2 packs a day. They've lost 10, 12 years of their life, not to mention all the money that they've spent. So as this relates to Alzheimer's, it increases your risk of Alzheimer's because smoking actually destroys the gray matter of your brain as you smoke more and more. The good thing is you can stop. If you stop, not only will you save money, but your body tends to repair itself. Your lungs will start to clear up. Your taste buds will come back. You won't be coughing in the morning. And I've seen folks who are 50 years of age who smoked all their life, and they look like they're 100, really. That's what it does to you. So stop smoking. That's a risk factor we can control. A lot of things we can't control. Where you're born, your ethnicity, your hair color, your eyes. But these factors we're talking about, we can control, and it affects the percentage of risk for Alzheimer's. Strokes. Everybody knows what strokes are. Now, smoking can lead to strokes, but also high blood pressure, stress. 85% of strokes are called hemorrhagic. There's a blockage in these little tiny blood vessels in your brain. And when that's blocked, you start to lose brain cells at the rate of 2 million per minute. So you've got to get to the doctor ASAP. And there are drugs to clear it, like Activase and other things. But if you don't, that part of your brain is gone. And you might have to live with the speech impediments, or your right side doesn't work anymore. So you can control whether or not you get a stroke to a great degree by how you live and what you do. If you have stress, do sports. Go out and scream at the trees or something, but get rid of the stress.
Yeah.
Stop the smoking, okay? That all leads to it. Next one is a interesting one, drugs. Now, we all know what cocaine and heroin will do to you. Yeah. But all of the studies I have read, especially from New Zealand, are focused on young people. There hasn't been a real good study on what it does to older folks. Now, we've heard how it helps your digestion or your rheumatoid arthritis or whatnot, but it's been focused on kids because there's a drug inside the marijuana called THC. Mm-hmm. Back in the 90s, marijuana contained maybe 4% THC. Now, with all the new growing techniques, that jumps to maybe 15%. Wow. So the same amount is 4 times more powerful. Okay. THC, the chemical makeup of it, is very close to a neurotransmitter called anandamide. Mm-hmm. And what it does is kind of sneaks in line, pushes the anandamide out of the way, and it slips in there, and you get this feeling of euphoria, it's fun and whatnot. And then as you need more and more and more to get that same feeling, they call it the gateway drug. I don't, towards the heavier stuff. But what concerns me the most is now that it's edible, you don't have to smoke it anymore. When you smoke it, it gets into your bloodstream immediately. You feel it, wow, right away.
Right.
When they eat these little candies or the cookies or the brownies, it's got to go through your digestive system. So you don't get that feeling right away. So what happens? You eat another one. You eat another one. And so if you eat too much, some of these have as much as 90% THC in them. They're really powerful. And my concern is kids. Yeah. Kids aren't reading labels. No. They say, oh, look, there's a gummy, there's a chocolate cookie, and they eat it, and they eat it, and they eat it. Now, as an example, Colorado legalized the drug back in 2014, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. And the incident rate of psychiatric and heart problems, especially when the edible things came out, drastically increased, especially among kids under 10 years of age. The ERs were seeing a 1,300% jump in those problems because they get into this candy. Well, you don't let them have it. You control it. Well, that doesn't really help, does it? Because how many kids get into mom's liquor cabinet, or how many kids get into the guns they're not supposed to, or the beer, whatever? They're going to find it, and little kids aren't reading labels. They see a gummy bear, they want to eat it.
And it looks colorful and everything. I just read an article on it, I think yesterday, about a kid that died, I believe here in Florida. He went and he took mom's gummies, and they were laced with meth, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was just horrible. The kid passed away. He just had too many of them.
And there's no reason. There's no reason for any of this to happen. But that part we don't hear about, which bothers me. So it's very dangerous for young people. And here's the thing. The New Zealand Institute came out with young people that use it regularly can lose up to 8 IQ points. And you don't get it back. It's gone. Your brain continues to mature until you're 25 years of age. Yeah. The frontal lobe is the last part. That's where your common sense, your rationality. And so naturally, when young people who haven't matured yet, they're affecting that up to 20%. They will not develop that part of their brain. So we wonder why sometimes young people do silly things.
Yes.
But that's not a license to say, hey, Mom, my brain isn't working yet, so I'm acting like this. But it's interesting that this will retard that development.
Yeah.
And I tell that to all the schools I go to, all the young people I see.
Well, I'm glad you're mentioning this today. A lot of listeners don't know my daughter's actually in the studio today, and I'm glad she's listening to this, my 13-year-old. She's a great kid, but it's good for them to be aware of this, right?
Yes, and they can help their friends as well.
Exactly.
To speak up. So that's why I bring that point out.
Yes.
The next risk factor we can control is our exercise.
Yeah.
People who don't exercise, their brain will decline twice as fast as someone who does.
Yeah.
Okay. How much exercise? 3 hours a week, maybe 30 minutes 3 times, a week. And I don't mean walk on the dog to the mailbox.
Yeah, right.
I mean swim laps, play pickleball, ride a bike fast,
Yes.
Do something like that to get the blood flowing, because your brain utilizes 10% of the oxygen that you're taking in. It utilizes 20% of the food nutrients. And it does this every day. It's voracious. You got to keep after this guy and keep feeding it.
Yes.
And that's what exercise is so important, because it gets that blood flow going, as well as releasing endorphins and making you feel good, and it even kills your appetite, so you don't want to eat.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
good.
And strenuous exercise, strenuous exercise will burn calories for about 6 hours
Okay.
after you're done playing.
Okay.
Strenuous. So
Yeah, and then for those, I just want to mention, for those that are on Medicare, a lot of these Medicare plans offer Silver Sneakers or Renew and Active, where you get a free membership. So there's a lot of, like, LA Fitness is included in a lot of these that have a swimming pool. Maybe you don't want to do the Zumba class or play the pickleball, right? Because it's too hot here in Florida. But maybe you want to do the swimming, or maybe get on the elliptical for a little bit, right? Just like John just mentioned, it's just 3 hours a week at least, right?
Yes.
At least. You just want to get out there and get the blood flowing. So, okay.
Oh my gosh. Sleep. We all love to sleep.
Oh, yes.
And I don't mean a nap on the couch. I mean 8 hours of sleep. Because while you're sleeping, your body is repairing itself.
Yes.
That's why when you're sick, sleeping is important. Your mind is also repairing itself. Your memories are consolidating what they're doing. You're turning short-term into long-term memories. And one of the important things is, of the 4 different stages of sleep, one of them is called slow wave sleep. During that period of time, your brain is cleaning the toxins that it's accumulated during the day. It's washing them out. I saw a video from a neurologist. Someone was actually sleeping, and he had an MRI on his head, and he had dyed the cerebral spinal fluid blue. So you watch this blue flow into his brain, and then it receded, and the blood came back, and then the blue came back, and the red, like a tide, in and out. He was washing your toxins out of your brain. And if you don't have that period of time, they don't get washed out. So if you go without sleep for 72 hours, you start to lose your memory, your rationality. In fact, if enough toxins build up, it can be fatal to you.
Yeah, I mean, I speak to a lot of seniors, right, in the field that I'm in, and a lot of them say that they have difficulty sleeping. And it's so important. You need to get your 8 hours.
Yes, and it actually builds your memories. That's where your memories are made, while you're sleeping. People listening to this today, by an hour from now, they will have forgotten what we just talked about. By tomorrow at this time, maybe 70% they'll have forgotten. To get this to stick, at least 90%, we'd have to have this interview 16 times, over and over and over. That's how your brain works. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
Okay, and there's a lot of truth to that. Sports. If you played sports, football, boxing, soccer, any head injuries increases your risk by 4 times for Alzheimer's. Now, you may recall a few years ago, some retired football players were suing the leagues because they were getting Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and they complained the equipment wasn't good enough.
Right.
And they've greatly improved it, but no matter how much foam you put in a helmet or how much protection, when your head stops, your brain is going to hit. There's a slight space in your skull, and it will jar it.
Right.
And the funny thing is, the guys who were having these problems were the linemen. The guys who were just kicking the ball and leaving the field, they didn't have any problems. They just kicked the ball. They never got tackled and beat up. Boxers. You remember Muhammad Ali?
Yes.
During the Olympics, he was in a wheelchair shaking from Parkinson's because of his boxing career. He had done so much damage, especially if you get knocked out, to his brain, that it increased his risk of the cognitive problems that he had at that point. So sports, if you've played sports, what concerns me is you got little kids playing football. They go into high school, they play football. They go into college, then they go into the majors. I mean, you're playing and getting beat up and banged up all the time. Now, that doesn't mean stop playing football, but be aware of what's out there because you're increasing your risks by doing that. Doesn't mean you're going to get it, but you increase your risks. My favorite is diet.
This one's difficult.
Diet. Every single paper I've read, from Sweden Switzerland, the UK, Australia, Japan, Wisconsin University, University of Miami, all of them. They all tell me the Mediterranean diet is the best for you. Leafy greens, vegetables. Let's see, I have a list here.
I'm going to make a note of that.
Leafy greens, vegetables, dark chocolate, my favorite. As long as it has 70% cacao in it.
What is it, 87%?
70.
70%.
It's a little bitter.
Oh, it's bitter.
It's a little bitter, but do what I do because nuts are on this list. So I mix it with almonds or walnuts and have yourself a little candy. And because walnuts and peanuts and cashews also have a product inside of them called resveratrol. Resveratrol helps control the amyloid buildup in your brain.
Okay.
We all have amyloid proteins.
Yes.
And one of the things about Alzheimer's is it builds up clots, it becomes amyloid plaque. That disrupts the blood flow, and which causes your brain cells to literally die because they're not getting the food and oxygen we talked about.
Okay.
So they're eliminated. So this resveratrol, you get it in, red wine, but you may not want to drink red wine or spend the money or have the alcohol.
Yeah.
So you can get it in pure Concord grape juice.
Oh.
Yes, I drink Knudsen's. It's Knudsen. You can buy it from Publix or Walmart. It's pure, not from concentrate. It's pure Concord grape juice, and it has the same chemical in it.
Interesting.
Peanuts do, cashews do, pistachios do. You need that to control your brain. And another interesting thing I've discovered is there's a part of Alzheimer's called tangles. That's part of in your brain cell. So the tangles and the amyloid plaques, and that's without getting too technical.
Okay.
Cinnamon helps control that part. Regular cinnamon. Put it on toast, put it on your cereal. Okay. That doesn't mean you can get a cinnamon-covered candy bar, but
right.
you know what I mean.
Or put cinnamon on your fried chicken.
Why not?
Right?
Or take a spoonful
Unhealthy.
of it. The other thing about diet is omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, and vitamin D3 or vitamin D.
Okay.
They control the amyloid proteins in your brain. Now you can get it from fish, tuna fish. But if you're like me and you're not a big seafood lover, you can get the krill pills or the fish oil pills. Does the same thing.
Okay.
Vitamin D you can get from milk, cheese, eggs, or the best source is the sun. You go out in the sun 15 minutes a day between 10 and 2, and your skin will synthesize sunlight and photosynthesis and turn it into vitamin D.
Ooh, okay.
So just go out, exercise, and get some sun at the same time. But again, you don't want to do too much because then you get sunburn.
Yes.
You don't want to go down that road.
For sure.
The next one is alcohol. Heavy drinking is considered to be 6 to 8 drinks per week. I mean bourbon, whiskey, that type of thing. Okay. Heavy drinking will destroy vitamin B1 in your brain, and it affects your neuronal health and will increase the risk of cancer in women, more so than men. Wow. Heavy drinking. It damages the white matter part of your brain, which is the communication center between the hemispheres of your brain, and it affects that. I've seen people, it shrinks your brain. I've seen autopsies from alcoholics. Yeah. Their brains are black, they're shriveled, they look disgusting. Oh. But that's what years and years of that has done. Yeah. Okay? So control it. If you want a martini, control it.
Okay.
Socializing, very important. People need people.
Yes.
It makes your brain creative because you're using different parts of your brain when you're carrying on a conversation.
Right.
And people who don't socialize, they decline very quickly. At the Volen Center during the COVID, when the elders came back, we noticed they weren't quite as with it, I'll say. Some of them came back, and some of them didn't. So we need to socialize because it will help slow your cognitive decline as well. Finally, my favorite one is education. How does education affect Alzheimer's? Well, it's easy. When you're educating your brain, learning something new, your brain is creating new connections and new pathways.
Right.
So if you damage your pathway, guess what? You have another one to go on. If 95 is blocked, you don't sit in traffic. What do? Go to the turnpike, military trail, you change the pathway, which is what you do when you educate. You're creating that cognitive reserve so that if there's damage, you have another road, another pathway to get on. Couple of quick facts. You have about 70,000 thoughts per day. I just throw that out there.
Yeah.
Diabetes increases your risk of Alzheimer's by So control your diabetes.
Control your sugar.
Yes. And the gray matter in your brain is what processes memories and information and whatnot. So what I'm telling people is there's a lot here we could go into.
Yeah.
But practice some of the things. We can control all of these
Yes.
to improve our health.
Yes. We can't control genetics, but definitely smoking, alcohol, right? Exercising, sleep, sports. Pickleball is very famous out there today. And dieting, right? Socialize and get the education. I know that we only have a couple of more minutes. I didn't know if you wanted to share something else quickly, John.
Yes, Alzheimer's is basically 3 phases. First phase, you tend to forget, and you may not even know you have it. It takes 20 years. You might be having it right now. 20 years to develop. And it gradually turns into stage 2, where they become forgetful, repetitious, asking the same questions, becoming cognitive. In stage 3 is when they need 24/7 care. They forget who you are, where they are, what's going on, and they usually pass away from aspiration pneumonia because they can't swallow and it gets in their airways, or the amyloid plaque builds up in their heart and makes the heart muscle stiff and it can't pump anymore. And that's usually the way they pass away. And this process can last 12 years or 2 years.
Yeah.
Depends on how healthy you are.
Yeah.
Or you can keep it pushed far away by having a good life.
Now, for those that have someone at home, I know that does the Volen Center have any programs they do that you would like to share with us before we
do
leave
have,
today?
since we're talking about Alzheimer's, we
Yeah.
do have adult daycare in 2 locations, Delray and Boca,
Okay.
where we have nursing, and we have a staff ratio 5-to-1, where people can bring a loved one, and they'll have activities during the day. We don't let them sit. They have activities to keep their mind going, and then they can be taken home at night and be with their family.
Yes.
And we have those
And
programs.
how can they, is there a number that you would like to share or a site?
Sure. 561-395-8920. And Valerie will answer the phone. She's my ATM of information, and she can direct you to the right person.
Well, John, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
It's thank you for sharing all that knowledge. Now, if anybody missed that or would like more information about the Volen Center or anything, more information about what we discussed today, please reach out 561-464-2273. Wishing everyone a lovely weekend.
Thanks for listening to Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam right here on Legends 100.3. Medicare Made Simple is brought to you by United Insurance Experts. For more information, call 561-464-CARE. That's 561-464-CARE. Tune in next Saturday at 9 a.m. for more Medicare Made Simple with Medicare Myriam.